Okay, so I have Excel open here to the cells and sheets practice problems. To complete this assignment, or any assignment, I first start by clicking on the Assignment tab. I can view the entire instruction set for this assignment by clicking on Instruction Sheet, though I'm just going to start digging in and click on the Task Guide button that will give me each task one at a time in a window over Excel. Now, for those of you using Macs, you'll notice that you can't do any of the task work while you have this window open. So you can go ahead and dock this window, and then you're able to do your work in Excel. Since I'm on a PC here, I'm going to undock the window and keep it floating over the screen. Okay, so task 1 asks me to identify the row number for student 1. Student 1 is in row 5, so I come over here in cell O5 and I select 5 as the row for student 1, and I'm ready to move on to task 2. Task 2 asks me to identify the column number for exam 5. So that's column J. And I'll move on to task 3. Task 3 asks me to identify the cell address for the extra credit earned by student 6. Student 6 is in row 10. Extra credit is in column K. So the extra credit for student 6 is in K10. Now notice I may have to scroll down to find that. Alright, task 3 is done. Task 4 asks me to insert a column between gender and quizzes and homework. And I need to label the new column student ID in cell D4. So to insert a column, I can either highlight the column just to the right of where I want to insert the column, right click and select insert, or alternatively I can come up here to the home tab, and I'll move my task window for a second and select insert, insert sheet columns, and now I've inserted a column in the correct spot here. Notice that now D4 is open for me to type in the text student ID. Okay, so that's done. Task 5 asks me to use the fill feature in Excel to input the student ID for each student ranging from 1 to 66. So I'm going to go ahead and click here in cell D5. I'm going to start a numeric pattern in rows 5 and 6. And I'm going to highlight now the rest of that column. To highlight using the keyboard, I just hold down the Shift key. Okay, so now I've got the entire fill range highlighted. I come over here in the Home tab to Fill, Series. Okay, so I want a linear growth. The series is in a column, and my step value is 1. So when I click OK, notice that it fills the numbers 1 through 66 for me in column D of the table. So that's complete. Task 6 asks me to copy all of the information for student 67 into the last row of the table, and I need to use the cut and paste method. The cut and paste method will make it so that this information about student 67 no longer exists up here in this part of the worksheet. So cut and paste, I highlight the area that I want to cut and paste. Under the Home tab and in the clipboard area, I'll select Cut. Notice that I have the dancing line that tells me that, dotted line, that tells me that I've selected a range for pasting. So now I'll just navigate over here to the bottom part of my table. Once here, I can select Paste. And now I've copied and pasted using the cut and paste method information for student 67 to the bottom of the table. Task 7 asks me to hide column C. Column C is the gender column. To hide it, I highlight that particular column, right click and select hide. Task 8 asks me to resize the quizzes and homework column to a width of 20. So as long as I'm selected somewhere here in column E, then I can come over to Format, which is in the Cells group of the Home tab. So Format, column width, and I'm going to resize to a width of 20. And that particular task is now done. Task 9 asks me to freeze panes to lock the column labels constant while the rest of the table scrolls down. So again, to do freeze panes, I just highlight the area just below where I want the worksheet frozen. So here I'm highlighting row 5 because I want row 4 frozen. I'm going to move my task window down. Freeze panes is under the View menu in the Window group, and I'm going to select Freeze Panes. So now, when I scroll down below row 29 here, notice that row 4 is frozen at the top of my screen, so I can view my table headings even though I've reached records that are below where I normally would be able to see them. Okay. Task 10 asks me to delete the Excel Basics worksheet. To delete a worksheet, I right-click on the Worksheet tab, and I select Delete from the menu that pops up. Notice that this is one case where Excel wants us to be sure that what we're doing is the right action. So I'll confirm that I want to delete that worksheet, and that worksheet is now gone. And I've reached the end of the tasks for this assignment, so I'll close the task window here, navigate to the Assignment tab, and I'll click Submit.